A very good morning from sunny Riga in Latvia. A very good morning to all of you across Europe. I'm very pleased to be your host today. My name is Oskar Spriede. I'm going to moderate this online webinar dedicated to innovative policy related to digital transformation of businesses. This event could be treated as a platform for sharing knowledge, sharing experience and best practices in creating support for businesses in their sophisticated way and path in digital transformation. Let's warm up a bit. We have prepared a few questions on the platform named menti.com. Some of you might be familiar with that platform. Let's just hear your voice digitally. And for that reason, I ask you to open your web browser, either on phone or computer or tablet, whatever it is at your hand. And the web address, you can see it also in the chat window, is menti.com. You can see it on the screen currently also on the top side. And to participate the poll, you have to enter the code 8380686. So this is the first task, and the task is to answer in 1 or 2 words. So how can what can help the business grow in terms of the Industry 4.0? So yeah, you see the question. So please use menti.com. I'm gonna go to that side myself as well to check if everything runs smoothly. Yes, I'm in, so it's 8380686. Yes, enter a word. How can industry help businesses grow? Okay, so we have some answers already. Teamwork, what's gonna work? Teamwork, business model as usually, and any stage of industry development, of course. Rising productivity, increasing productivity. I see several answers, including the word productivity. Resource management, more efficiency in that. I see that we are on one page, definitely, based on these answers. Let's wait for some more, and we can then open our event. Great, thank you for being active. We will have several more questions in menti.com. If you have some question that is going to be addressed to speakers, so don't hesitate, use the chat window, or if you are looking, if you're viewing this event in Facebook page of the ministry, then you can surely use the comments section. We will do our best to then address those questions to our speakers. So the agenda is very simple. We have 3 presentations from 2 ministries and the IT cluster. And after that, we will have a discussion. Everybody is welcome to join. To make it more efficient, I believe that the best way to do things is if you type a question in the chat section, and I'm gonna read those questions and moderate the discussion. But if you feel like saying something out loud, you can always raise your hand, and we will give floor to you then. All right. We have our first presentation from the Ministry of Regional Development and Environmental Protection. Lauris Linebergs is ready to share his knowledge, experience, and insights about topic. Lauri, the floor is yours.
Yes. Hello, good morning, colleagues. So I am trying to share my screen. Well, so I'm really proud to say that it happened just 2 weeks ago, on 6th of July, when our government approved digital transformation strategy for our country for coming years. And so I'm happy for this opportunity to share the basic or some key concepts of this new strategy with you now using this stage. So our general key document for strategic development of country's national development plan, and so of course our digital transformation strategy should be related with that, and also in the same time, of course, it has great influence from European new European legislation initiatives and European activities, and of course realities like COVID-19, a new situation. And well, there you see also some challenges and opportunities. What we see, what influence our situation, starting from insufficient digital skills that unfortunately is identified repeatedly in benchmarking, in different benchmarking of OECD and European countries. But let me come back to this a few slides later. Our strategy defines 5 development directions or development areas, starting from digital skills and education, continuing with digital security and trust, then touching connectivity and accessibility of telecommunication services. Then comes the main part, it is digital transformation of the economy, and then ICT industry and ICT science related issues. The most detailed, elaborated part of the strategy is digital transformation of economy that includes also public digital transformation of public administration, and that is a main new thing or just a radical change from our previous strategies, which were mainly focused at digitalization of our public administration. Now we put those 2 areas together as close as we can to get maximum synergies of all what we have achieved already in digitalization of our public administration, so that from those development, from those public digital services, from those national ICT platforms developed already and that will be developed, so that beneficiaries are also businesses, that those platforms should serve also for a purpose of business services, not only public services. Well, there is a set of results, key results defined, and here on the slide you see just a couple of ambitious targets and results that we plan to achieve by 2027, starting from this radical change in digital skills, continuing with in security area, so that, well, we believe that we will be able, with our communication and our better solutions, to achieve situations that there are people are less concerned about their security in digital environment, and that will is not preventing them from dealing in internet. Well, also it covers also accessibility of our services for all our citizens, all our inhabitants, also those who possibly still will not have enough digital skills to directly themselves access all services fully digitally. So customer service network will provide services network will provide assistance for those citizens in rural areas, and that network of customer services should have cover 90% of our territory by 2027. So there is also ambitious target in area of business digital integration of businesses, and regarding public administration digitalization itself. So our primary focus will be at development of our competence centers, at consolidation of our ICT services, of our developing them as shared services. So we will have at least 6 specialized shared ICT shared service centers in our public administration. So now we have two of them in this moment, and very ambitious target to have 4 cities with 5G coverage in Latvia by 2027. So I will touch digital skills and education just very shortly. So just benchmarks, as I mentioned already before, benchmarks show quite poor situation in our country, well, in this area. So, but and that is why more investments will be dedicated in this area, in coordination between several ministries, including Ministry of Education, our ministry, and Ministry of Economy. Regarding most related to my professional interests and area, professional area is section of digital security and trust services, especially. So I just and there are a lot of news in this area in in European Union, and coming also in to Latvia, and also new developments in Latvia. We have used to consider electronic signature as virtually the only digital trust service, but now the scope of trust services, well, is developing well, and we expect that it will really boom over next years. Well, not speaking only of digital seal, but consider this safe or trusted or as it says in regulation, registered electronic delivery, for example, that is also regulated by EIDAS regulation as a trust service. So this next development step of our official electronic address is a solution is to develop it in accordance with regulation for trust services, and in particular in regulation for registered electronic delivery service, and of course open this platform and this service also for use between businesses and their customers. Well, that is one of projects which is concept which is delayed, but now in next few years it is one of our top priorities, and also it also represents this general concept of opening national ICT platforms to businesses. And also I should mention here also potentially new trust service which is sometimes is referred to as a new European electronic identity, but in fact it is so-called solution for data wallet solution, which in new version in a coming version of EIDAS regulation will be defined as one more type of trust service. And there, well, we are looking forward wide use of that kind of trust service by our businesses along with our public institutions. Regarding connectivity, accessibility of telecommunication services, this is an area where traditionally Latvia has performed very well in international benchmarks. But with time going, our previous looking from today's perspective, moderate targets of say 30 megabit per second bandwidth connections, well, will put us in completely different could put us into a completely different situation in international benchmarking. So now we should set much more ambitious targets, and so we set it here as 75% of households by 2027 should have availability of 100 megabits per second broadband connection. And regarding 5G coverage, priority is coverage of via Baltica and Rail Baltica, and as I mentioned regarding key results, so 5G coverage in 4 big cities. Regarding this most ambitious and difficult and complicated part, digital transformation of economy, I can only one more time repeat that this new priority and also, well, change, in comparison with the previous our previous strategies over previous decades, is this very strict requirement for synergy between digitalization or digital transformation of our public administration and digital transformation of businesses, so that businesses could benefit from what we do with digitalization or digital transformation of public administration. Still, as a Vara Ministry performing role of Chief Information Officer's office in government, so our primary focus is at digitalization of public administration, and so here, well, you'll see those main directions and priorities where we are working. So it's data, it's modernization of our public services, and it is consolidation of our ICT services, as I said already before, consolidation in shared service centers, and developing them as a professional service center, so they are able to provide professional ICT services, not only to other public administrations, but in cases if they operate national platforms that will be opened also for businesses, so that those services are able to meet service level agreement requirements that are necessary for businesses to rely their services on those platforms. So that one more time I can repeat that the priority is partnerships, cooperation between the providers of public and commercial services to efficiently serve citizens in their life situations. And just to, well, not speaking of that only, that theoretically, just to mention some practical examples. Could you imagine, for example, that our public services portal Latvia.lv is open also for some commercial services that are related to some particular life situations. So just already now this, well, in new design of Latvia LV, we will it will be focused more at life situations of our citizens, and then in those life situations, our citizens need not only public services, and in some of situations, not that much of public services, but also some commercial services. And well, and our plans are going those life situations, situation by situation, to invite businesses to come with their commercial services, also to join Latvia LV, so that our citizens can receive their comprehensive set of services, both public and commercial, that suit their this particular life situation. And other second platform, which also in development phase already, it's a national platform of subsidies and discounts, and of course it will start with records for all groups of our citizens who are eligible for different discounts, well, in public transportation in other areas. So this is first step. And businesses are involved there only in the sense that as a service providers, and will be able to use this platform to instantly receive information if person making purchase or acquiring the service is eligible for particular discount. But there are plans to develop this platform further so that also businesses can implement their discount and loyalty programs if they want to do so, if they are interested in that. And not to mention, of course, our national trust and electronic identification services platform, which already now de facto is open for businesses, and they are happy that some of our large businesses are using it very efficiently. I will not talk more about digital transformation of businesses, because that is area where our colleagues Ministry of Economy it is their responsibility area, and they will talk about this more. I only just will one more and maybe last time repeat is that we see also that availability of national digital platforms and services for businesses will provide one more stimulus, some additional motivation for digital integration of our further digital integration of our businesses. So, and thank you for your attention, and well, I will be happy to answer questions, and of course we are looking forward close cooperation with businesses, and now not only in role of suppliers or consultants in building our national ICT platforms, but also in role of efficient users of those platforms which we are opening to our businesses.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lauris. Thank you so much for the presentation. We don't have yet any questions for our participants. Dear participants, if you have questions, so please type them in the chat box that you see here on the Zoom platform. Lauris, I have a question to you. You mentioned several things in the strategy about digital accessibility, including broadband connection to at least 75% of the population. And I was thinking, isn't that what businesses are doing, the big telecoms? How this strategy goes, does it go hand in hand with business interests, or is it assumed that you are somehow trying to push businesses to provide connectivity, for example, to the areas that are not so much of interest in terms of the business, say, bigger areas with very few people living in them? So how do you deal with this?
Well, first, I should admit that, well, that policy is managed by our Ministry of Transportation, but in general, you are absolutely right that our colleagues in Ministry of Transportation, that is what they're trying to achieve, that to provide some extra stimulus, some extra funding for development of communication networks into rural areas where there are market gaps, where there are not enough market stimulus to develop those services.
Exactly. Yeah. So probably some kind of state support then, or instruments to make businesses provide access.
Different kind of instruments, and this is really challenging in this situation when technologies are changing so fast.
Yeah. All right. Gabriela is asking a question. So, what did you exactly meant by unified governance of public services? Who will be responsible to put this into practice?
Well, I should say that theoretically this is in place already. So in our ministry we have Department of Public Services, and all public services should be registered in the one single unified catalog of public services as a first thing. And then on top of that, so now are being developed policies and implemented policies regarding delivery, of unified models of delivery of those public services. And then what I mentioned is customer services network. That is one very important part of that. So to make those public services, to build public or rebuild public services in a way so that they are not, they could be delivered not only in a fully digital, using fully digital channel, but also using this channel of customer services, or how we call it, assisted electronic delivery, so that underneath of that should be digital service, but assistant in customer service can provide support for particular person to fully and efficiently use that service. So that's that kind of thing. So first it is catalogs, and then there are unified channels for delivery of those public services, and proceeding that way, in many cases we can get rid of servicing customers on site within separate institutions. So separate public administration institutions will not need to have their own customer services networks all around the country. So just they could work mostly in back office mode, but this front office is digital or assisted digital with our customer service offices.
Sounds like huge savings in future. One last question from my side. You mentioned the portal, I would say the central portal of Latvia, and it is named latvia.lv. I've been using several times for some needs. For example, when I changed my home, my address, I need to register the new address, and actually the portal didn't work very well, but all in all, it's quite convenient. And you mentioned the idea or the concept of opening this platform also for commercial users. I didn't actually catch or grasp the idea. So could you name some example of what kind of services or applications could be there?
So very natural, and I believe that will come quite soon because those businesses are really interested, is third level of pensions. So that now you can see first level and second level, but those providers of the third level of pension, those also are interested to be there, to be represented there, and well, you'll see that.
All right, so voluntarily private savings and management of those account holders or managers of those funds. That sounds good. Anything else apart from that? I mean, something.
Well, there will be a lot, and we will need to decide on priorities of those life situations. So I don't know if it's the right thing to mention the life situation when some person passes away. So there again, we can very naturally we could see what then relatives, what relatives of that person need from public administration, and what from business. For example, as a very simple example.
Yeah, sounds like a very convenient one-stop shop kind of thing. Cool. Thank you, Laurie, so much for sharing the strategy and also these examples. We shall move on with our agenda now. So to get you guys involved again, let's reopen menti.com, the website, the platform. There's the next question. Again, we will create a cloud of words, so please answer in one word or few words. So what should be the key components in a successful digital transformation policy? So yeah, let's give it a minute or so for you guys to answer. I'm gonna do that as well, actually. Why not? All right, we need funds for that. That's very obvious. Triple helix cooperation. So what's going to work? Teamwork, right? Different stakeholders that should be involved should, of course, work in a very close bond and be efficient in that. Communication, again, informing society, another type of communication dimension. Partnerships, data skills, of course. Training goes in relation to data skills, of course. Remove stagnation. Well, that's a tough one. Yeah, you've seen those pictures of somebody asking the crowd, do you want change? And everybody's raising hands. And then the next question goes like this, who wants to change? And nobody answers that one. So yes, of course, this is very important aspect of this, removing stagnation and yeah, communicating, creating partnerships. Great, thank you for being active in this. We shall now move on, and we have our next presentation, two more to come actually. The presentation from the Ministry of Economics, and then some industry cases from the IT cluster in Latvia. So, as I mentioned, the Ministry of Economics, the representative from this ministry, Edgars Ozoliņš, is ready to give his presentation. Please.
Yes. Right. Hello to everyone, and warm welcome from my side as well. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet everyone from the project in our industry in person, as it was meant to be within this project, and hopefully we will soon meet and share some in-person experiences during this challenging time. Until then, I'm happy to share my experience through virtual connection that we have right now. And as Lauris already outlined in his presentation previously, we are taking a proactive top-down approach in Latvia, starting from the government's policy that is being placed for the governmental digitization, and then the policy for the digitizing of businesses. So I will now move on from the governmental and public sector digitization to deep dive into the business sector digital transformation. And in order to understand what would be the actual needs for a specific country and its businesses, of course, everything has to come from some proven data that you can find comparing it amongst other EU states. And that is the approach that we have taken in Latvia so far. So for us, what we did while putting together our digital transformation policy for businesses was to look at the digital economy and society index that's been done by the European Commission each year. And the 2021 results are still being put together as we speak by the European Commission, but looking at the 2020 results, Latvia placed only within the 18th position amongst 28 member states. And it is not a good result, to be honest. And of course, we had to look into the areas that we lack some expertise, or we lack support or leadership. And by breaking that down, this digital economy and society index, we looked at the 5 main components that form this whole index together. And those are connectivity, as Lauris previously described. Connectivity measures the internet speed and connections amongst households and businesses that we have in Latvia. And Latvia, with one of the fastest internet connection speeds in the world, places within the top 5 in EU. So this is not an area that we are very much concerned with. However, if we move on to the other component, which is human capital, that measures the digital skills of society and employees as a whole, then we lack support, and we place very low amongst the EU states, only 24th position between 28 member states last year. So obviously, this already shows us a red flag of areas where we need some major improvements. And of course, without any digital skills, no industry can move forward and transform its services or products to the necessities of modern industry. So that is one of the components that we need major improvements. Next, we move on to the use of internet services, and it basically connects with the previous area of human capital, because it shows how people of Latvia use internet, how they purchase products online, whether they use social networks. And again, not a great position amongst the EU states, where to be at only 19th position amongst 28 member states. And for the Ministry of Economics, obviously, our main area of expertise and interest is the integration of digital technologies within the businesses. So this area, similarly as human capital, has shown without skills, you cannot implement digital technologies in the business. So you have to look at them combined. So human capital improvements will lead to improvements in the business capability of adapt digital technologies. So this is area that we need to improve as well. And finally, digital public services. And as you may have heard from Lauri's presentation, this once again is not an area that we lack some sort of initiatives or improvements. Our services are already very much digital. We have a portal where you can basically manage all of your data and log on to any public institutions' web pages and do what you as a citizen and as a business should do or you want to do in a digital manner. So basically, the areas that we need to focus on are human capital, use of internet services, and integration of digital technologies within businesses. For us, the goal is obvious. We need improvements in these indexes, and those improvements will only come from aid or nationwide strategy implemented by the institutions. Not only that, we cannot base our interests or our actions into indexes done EU-wide. We have to ask businesses what are their necessities. And by doing a survey of the Latvian businesses, we found that one of the areas that they need major investments in are digital skills. And only after digital skills, there are investments needed in the robotization and automatization, other equipment modernization, sensors, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and other things. So without skills, this shows our hypothesis that without skills, you cannot think about any other digital transformation processes within the company. So we need to change our current approach. We need to supplement our active or existing support instruments. And what we did, we formed a full support cycle for the businesses that starts from implementation or raising the level of digital skills for the businesses and their employees, moving towards to process digitization or product or system digitization, to introducing new products and services, to loans for the Industry 4.0 and business environment activities, as Loris already outlined, to lower the bureaucratic burden on the businesses. And all this is being held together by this initiative that will come into force, well, hopefully this year or the start of next year, which is the European Digital Innovation Hubs. So Latvia will have at least two European Digital Innovation Hubs that will hand these support instruments, digital skills improvements and grants out to businesses with mentorship, technology experimentation and testing, piloting activities, just to guide them through this journey of digital technology integration within the businesses. And obviously, we don't want this support to be available only for the businesses that are placed in the center of Latvia, which is the capital, Riga. We want businesses in the regions to be connected with this European Digital Innovation Hubs. And we have thought about it to create and based on our existing business incubator network, another network of digital transformation for businesses. So these incubators and regional development, business development centers will become a connection point in the certain region of Latvia with the European Digital Innovation Hub that will be placed in the center of Latvia. So all of the businesses around Latvia, no matter in which region they are operating in, will have the connection and the mentorship to implement or test their solutions within the European Digital Innovation Hub. And how the process will be held, it's quite simple if you put it into a presentation. So first of all, we start with the business, and the business has to understand that there is a need for improvement. So if you are not competitive in comparison to your competitors, whether they are local or global, you need to improve. You need to understand what are more effective technology or services that you can provide, or are there any new technology that you can implement into your business. But we understand that it is hard, and each business has its own specific needs and sectors that they operate within. So to help to identify this need, to form it into an area that they know they need to improve, we will create a digital maturity test, which is actually already operational within Latvian Information and Communication Technology Association. So they have already a digital maturity test that is working for the businesses to identify the fields and areas of necessary improvements with regards to digital transformation of businesses. So after the business has identified its need, moved on to the digital maturity test, filled it out, understood which are the areas of potential improvements, then the aids and the areas or the roads that the business should take are being outlined in association with the mentors from the European Digital Innovation Hub. So maturity test, and then whether it's improvement for the digital skills, whether it's the necessity for grants for digitizing certain processes, or it's just a roadmap for the company to introduce new technology, new products, and move to the global exporting markets. So we are creating a roadmap for the businesses to understand what are their needs, to have the support for their needs, and then to mentor them or guide them throughout this whole process. Now, this whole package or this whole support cycle for the business digital transformation is worth over 183 million euros for the business. And this has been available through the introduction of recovery and resilience funding introduced last year in summer, and that's been already approved for several countries, including Latvia, and the European Regional Development Funds that will be available up until the 2027. And a lot of these activities that I have outlined already for you will be available throughout the both recovery and resilience funding, and continue throughout the European Regional Development Funds. So these are the instruments, this is the funding. So we put the money where we actually see that there are problems, and we form it so that we would see certain solutions throughout the upcoming 7 or so years. Now to deep dive into the specific activities, support instruments that the businesses will have. We'll start off with the core of the whole full support cycle, and that is the European Digital Innovation Hubs. As explained, what they will do is mentor or guide the company throughout its digital transformation journey. So they will provide mentoring, specific mentoring activities. Of course, not all of the companies will be on the same digital maturity level, so they will be formed by their level of understanding, and then the probable solutions or the roads that they would take. So mentoring, then whether the company needs to implement new technology, introduce new products or services, the European Digital Innovation Hub, in association with universities and scientific researchers, will have the opportunity to pilot, test, or experiment those solutions, and the company will have vouchers for that as well. And of course, the company will have access through these European Digital Innovation Hubs in Latvia to the network that's being placed all around Europe. So if the European Digital Innovation Hub that's being placed in Latvia does not have the competency that the company may require, they will have the opportunity to contact or a channel of connection throughout the whole European Digital Innovation Hubs around the European Union. And the European Digital Innovation Hubs, or EDIHs, will have specific competencies in 3 main areas. And those are artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and high-performance computing. Another thing in regards to what the European Digital Innovation Hubs will provide is just basic overlook of what the support is available from the companies and how they would use it. Now to move on what the other support and the aid instruments are, we'll start off with the skills. Skills will also be partially managed by the EDIHs, the European Digital Innovation Hubs, a small portion. So I will move on to the specific areas of digital skills, and they are divided into 3 verticals, as we like to say. The 30 million funding for the digital skills for the upcoming 7 years will be divided within the availability of massive open online courses, or MOOCs. And these will be courses mostly available for the target audience of 25 to 44-year-olds, also the ones who are outside this set. age, but mainly because people within this age group have already some previous experience by using online learning platforms, and the areas where we think that the most courses will be based within our user experience and user interface basics, some e-commerce knowledge, lots of data and financial analysis, some programming languages, and developing business intelligence systems. So these are the areas that will be available through the massive open online courses. Of course, they will, as it says, it will be available online. And we think that this should be based within the European Digital Innovation Hub webpage, as it's being formed as the one-stop shop for all the business digital transformation activities. Now, moving on to the skills part by the Digital Innovation Hub. As I said, there are 3 specific areas of expertise for the Digital Innovation Hub. So, of course, the skills will be introduced, and the courses will be held within these 3 areas that the business might require: cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and HPC, and any other specific needs of the business. So if there are something that falls outside of the areas of MOOCs or the associations that I will mention just in 5 minutes, then the Digital Innovation Hub will have the opportunity to provide some learning opportunities in association with its mentors, scientific researchers, or any expert that the Digital Innovation Hub might have in the specific field that the company may require. And now, finally, associations. This is an area that we are continuing from our previous period that started in 2014. So our local associations are providing business and digital related courses for the businesses, and these will mainly be targeted for the audience of 45 to 64-year-olds, as this is the area where human interaction is more required than in the MOOC section. And also, these courses will be mostly provided for the employees in the regions of Latvia, as from our analysis, we understand that those are the employees that require the basic level of digital skills courses. And these courses will be online learning. So obviously, if you don't know how to use online learning platforms, this will be the area to gain that expertise and to move on to MOOC platforms, some online sales courses, and then move on to e-commerce development, and some basic programming skills and others that the employee may require for its business or work duties. Now, moving on to the next support instrument, grants for digitizing processes. This will be so-called small grants, which will be up to 200,000 euros per company. And this will be available for the companies, whether the requirements are for software or technology or manufacturing needs. So if a company needs to implement some sensors for the production of certain goods or products, then this support instrument will be for that purpose. Also, to raise the efficiency and reduce costs of certain production processes, for example, to lower the energy usage for certain equipment, to add sensors that track how the energy is being used, to track the productivity of certain equipment. So this will help to raise the productivity of the manufacturing process. Lots of business-related software purchasing, some agile or lean systems, some CRMs, ERPs. So all of this will be able throughout the small grant up to 200,000 euros per business. Now moving on to introducing new digital products and services, and this will be the large grant scheme. with up to €1 million per business and with up to 80% intensity. And this instrument will support scientific research and testing of a product or service that is completely new. You cannot order it or buy it from a producer in Germany, Spain, or somewhere else. This is something that's been created in association with scientific researchers or universities. And what we want is the product to not be created and only used within the company. We want this solution or technology that's being developed within the company to be exported to other companies globally. So we will focus on not only on the development stage, but also for delivering this technological development outside the company. Yes, so this is another instrument. And finally, for the Industry 4.0, but it seems to be all of the instruments focused for the Industry 4.0, this specific support instrument will be a financial instrument or a loan up to €7 million, and the opportunity for the business to reduce or have a grant of up to 35% of the loan that will be taken out from the loan amount. If certain points or certain areas have been met by the previously outlined roadmap with the company, that has been formed together with the European Digital Innovation Hubs, and this support instrument will be available for the Industry 4.0 solutions such as Internet of Things introduction within the company, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and of course other buzzwords. And what I want to finally focus on is the 5G systems and devices. So as Lauris mentioned, we are building the system for the ecosystem for the governments on the government side, for the companies to be able to use 5G infrastructure. So on this part, we will help the companies to develop or create or buy systems that will facilitate from the use of 5G networking that we have in Latvia. So this is the story that I wanted to share with you today. The digital transformation and the plans of Ministry of Economy. And if you have any further questions, feel free to type them in the comment section, or I feel that Oskars might ask some questions just now. So yep, thank you.
Right, thank you, Edgars. Quite a comprehensive presentation, loads of things to think about. I was wondering about this. You mentioned the scientific elaborations and developing the products that could in future be used by other companies. I see a contradiction. Could you explain me that if I take a grant with the aid intensity of 80%, then and it's up to 1 million, so probably I'm investing say 200K, and then I'm opening the product or the development that I've created in this grant. How does this work commercially?
Okay, so regarding this €1 million grant, if you have developed a technology or a manufacturing equipment for a certain product, of course you use it within the company. But what we don't want is for the technology that's being created to die out within the company. We want it to be licensed throughout the EU, globally, to other companies also to use technology that's being created locally in Latvia. So by not only creating technology within the company and by it staying only within the walls of the company, we are helping to spread the word of our scientific powerhouse that we have locally and export it around the globe.
All right, so if I understand correctly, I'm able to license the technology, still get some earnings from it, but exactly. This instrument makes sure that it doesn't stay within my company only, right? So it goes up. I see now. Okay, then it makes sense. Another question about the courses. You have explained the different courses for different target audiences, and you also mentioned analysis. I wanted to ask about this analysis or surveys or whatever it is that you did. How was it done, and what were the main, I don't know, takeaways from these? Because you've obviously built, based on this analysis, these instruments.
Yep, exactly. So the analysis is being done by the Center of Statistics in Latvia, and that is done on yearly basis as a part of the Digital Economy and Society Index. And all of these 5 main components that form the index as such have sub-components within each. So each, let's say, human capital has about 10 to 15 measures that put together the human capital component. And these areas that put together the human capital component include the human or the basic population use of internet, how much e-commerce turnover is being done by the overall population of Latvia. And we see that the numbers are very low. So this is why we wanted to focus on the use of e-commerce by businesses, and also help employees gain some skills in the areas of e-commerce and user experience and user interface to raise this area. And how this instrument or how this statistic is being formed is by surveying companies and employees all around Latvia. It's a random selection of companies each year, and we do about 2,000. We survey about 2,000 companies on a yearly basis. So this is how it's all being formed.
Yeah. So statistically, it sounds quite representative and solid. Cool. Davis is asking a question. With this support that was presented just now, what are the plans of Latvia in terms of DESI index? Which place are we planning to achieve in following years?
Yes. So for the National Development Plan, we have set our goal for the DESI index. And for us, the goal is to get to where we were last year by 2024. We feel that it is not an optimistic but a realistic target. So the 15th position compared to 18th position last year. And by 2027, when all of these support instruments will be already implemented, we would want to close into the top 10 of the DESI countries. So we hopefully we will see that the 183 million of funding will have some effects of business digital technology integration as well as human capital. So hopefully around the 13th or 10th position by 2027.
I see. Rather ambitious anyway, and hopefully really realistic. All right. Thank you, Edgars.
Thank you.
We shall now move on, and let's have a next question on Menti. So again, asking you to visit the website, menti.com. Probably you don't have to use the code again. You already see the third question. This, in this case, is a multiple choice question, so you can choose your answer. I'll do that as well. So we'll see what comes out of it. So what could be the risks of implementing Industry 4.0 solutions? It's insufficient knowledge, poor data management, cybersecurity, variable velocity at different stages of the support chain, creating bottlenecks, and interoperability. All right. Let's wait for a few more moments. Okay, you see the number 1 and number 4 are the answers that got the majority vote. Cool, let's move on now, and we will see some industry cases, and our next presenter is Ilze Raudiņa from the IT cluster in Latvia. Ilze?
Yeah, hello everybody. I hope you are hearing me well. So thank you, Oskars, for giving a floor to me, at least virtual one. I really hope that the next time we can sit around the table, everybody together, and speak about these questions and these topics. Yeah, good day to all of you. My name is Ilze Raudiņa, and I am representing Latvian IT cluster, Digital Innovation Hub, and I'm the project manager there. And actually, first of all, I would like to thank Ministry of Economics for this opportunity to be here and to present our ideas, to say our story, our vision, how we see this digital transformation process going on, and what kind of activities we are offering to companies to become more digital aware. And actually today we heard from ministries about different kind of support mechanisms and programs that will allow enterprises to become more digital aware. And this is very, very good that ministries put a very strong focus on this digital transformation. And actually this allows us to work us more precisely, more concrete on different kind of this digital transformation activities. So thank you very much for that. And I will share a short insights in our activities and how they make the cross-industry collaboration work. Sorry, next slide. So in few words about Latvian IT cluster. Sorry for my voice, in the middle of summer I got a cold, so I will try to do my best. Sorry for that. And at this moment we are a partnership based organization, and for now we have around 50 active members from the different sectors. Let's say we have IT enterprises and businesses, so then municipalities and also universities. So this is a very, very good mix for make this perfect ecosystem. As Latvian IT cluster, we started in 2007. Being an IT community and helping IT companies enter in the new market. So basically, this internationalization is one of the main pillars of our work. But since then, we have also developed and added new areas of expertise, such as digitization, cross-industry collaboration, and of course, innovation ecosystem building also. So basically, past 5 years, let's say, this digitization is one of our top priorities. Yeah, and we did that because we saw that there was a growing need for raising awareness to Latvian enterprises, and in the year, if I'm correct, in year 2018, we got this status of Digital Innovation Hub, and we established this hub for Latvian enterprises to get more digital aware. Some facts and figures. I assume that everybody knows actually the fact that only 20% of all the companies around the Europe we can consider actually as highly digitized, and it means that we all together has a lot of work to do to raise this number. And if we are speaking about Latvian SMEs, then 45% enterprises say digitization related activities play a very important role in their future plans. And yes, we are working like daily with companies, and we see that companies are kind of ready for digital transformation. They want to become more productive. They want to be more competitive, more successful, but they don't have these right tools to do this. They don't know actually probably the newest technology solutions, what they can get, what they can implement. So yeah, that's why we are here to help companies better understand what is the best exactly for them. As for DIH, that was initiative to lead digitization and digital transformation process in Latvia. And we established DIH from the main reason like to help these companies to become more digital aware. And also we are one of the European Digital Innovation Hub nominants here in Latvia. And our main mission is to be as a digital guide, as a facilitator or orchestrator, call whatever you want, but yeah, what connects all the parties and to be this like a spin and to be for Latvian enterprises and basically for SMEs, because 99.7% of all the enterprises in Latvia, we have small and medium ones. About the collaboration through the project. The main precondition, actually, we are working with SMEs and enterprises also through the different kind of projects. We are a part of regional and international projects for education, innovation, business promotion, and so on. The first precondition actually is to build a trust. And it's important to notice that building a trust takes a time, sometimes a lot of time. And of course, every project must reveal some business, real business value, and let these projects would be successful that reveal this value. It is important to build trust. Actually, if we are speaking about all the activities we are offering, the first precondition is to make a trust and to build a sustainable partnership. And as one of the successful approaches is to organize different kind of practical events that we are doing this. And if we want to work with this company more than one time, if we want to see how this company are going to transform, it's crucial to have these follow-ups and to create the real plan, the real roadmap together with the company, how to step by step we can transform this business. So yeah, collaboration is, I would say, it's a key word. It's a key word. And to achieve our goals, we are setting up different kind of activities, and we are already proactively covering the functions that should be ensured by European digital innovation hubs. We definitely see that the huge added value goes to mentoring. As also Edgar said, that the big part of digital transformation goes like to mentoring. We see that every single company that goes this digital transformation way goes together. It was very high skilled technical expert who really can help to choose what is the best way for particular company. Also, as a very first step to work with the companies, we see that this digital maturity assessment tool is a good point to start, because then you see the real way how this company what is this real way of this company to become more digital aware, and how it's better to become more productive, and where is this company on the digital map at the moment. So again, step by step, what to do, how to do it best. And also we see this cross-sectoral collaboration as a very strong necessity for digital transformation. For example, we are offering and organizing different kind of events, we are calling them cross-sectoral datings, that from the one side there is IT community with IT providers with these IT skills, and from the other side is another sector. Basically, we are working with manufacturing sectors as agriculture, wood sector, electronics and machinery. So, and this is the good way how we see the necessities and the problems. The real problems that can be prevented with the digital tools and solutions provided by IT companies. So yeah, and of course about the trainings, providing digital training, starting from, I don't know, digital marketing, and we can end with highly digital skills also. Yeah, so this is the very huge ecosystem how to work with one particular company. I would say a few words about our latest activity that we are offering to enterprises, and it's called Kickstart Training. And thanks to good partnership with RISE Institute, we have adapted this activity. And this is kind of warm-up event for raising awareness. Also, this is one of the first steps in terms of digital transformation way. We start this early stage or warm-up events for companies that want to digitize, but they really don't know how to do this. And with Kickstart trainings, we aim to change this one. It's a practical three-day event over the span of 1.5 months, where companies come together, change experiences, change ideas, learn more about digitization, and try to understand whether this or that digital tool can be suitable for my business. So as this event is the product of pandemics, also of course we are facing challenges. There's no only flowers and bright colors, because the online motivation is one of that we are dealing with, and there is a need to secure online motivation that people actually show up, or about the dynamic or engagement. There are different kind of levels and different kind of people, of course. So, but this is one activity what we are very, very proud of, and this is a good one. I actually everything I said before is showed in this roadmap. And this is how we see the logical growth and development of each company, which will be ready to start its digital transformation. And as I told, it is important to go the way together with the high-skilled mentor, of course. At the beginning, from time to time, there is a need to remind what kind of possibilities there are. It can be done by informing, by communicating campaigns, and giving the information through the platforms. Of course, first of all, it is necessary to generate the interest and to change the mindset. And after that, it is necessary to go through logical steps like analyzing business processes, training, upskilling, everything what is written in this roadmap. It's very, very important. Every step is very important to become digitally transformed business. And yes, of course, it wouldn't be possible actually without ecosystem support. To make our digital innovation hub strong and cross-industry collaboration work, we have teamed up and made a consortium. We have created a consortium with the state industry associations and clusters, technology providers, and academia, the biggest Latvian universities, and of course state institutions as the ministries is a very, very strong support also to us and to our work. And yeah, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to be here, and we are very open to collaborate in terms of European digital innovation hubs and the activities behind that. And let's digitally transform together. Thank you very much for your time. I hope I was quite brief.
All right, thank you, Ilse. Thank you. We have a question coming in from Simone. Did you organize these Kickstart trainings online only, or was it also on site?
Yes, only for now. It's only online trainings because it's the product of pandemics, and we took all this all these guidelines how to do this online, and so yeah, for now it's only online, but we hope that one day we can meet and do it in person.
Simone is saying that she has postponed her Kickstart workshop in Austria to do them on site. So for obvious reasons, it's probably easier to get people.
Yeah, and probably it's also the best, but this is actually a very good experience how to do it also online. So yeah, both ways could be very interesting and nice.
I see. I'll have some more questions to you in the discussion part, but before we get to the discussion, I have one more question on Menti platform. So let's see the question now. Again, multiple choice question. So what should be the state's role in digital transformation? So you see, you have different variations of how you answer. So either it's infrastructure or financial aid, digital public services, or investments in human capital. I'm gonna go for human capital. That's me there, yellow color. One answer, two answers. Thank you for that. I'm now promoting that one. Yeah, and it seems to be the leader among the answers. Also, the infrastructure and digital public services. Nobody is talking about money, so probably it is enough. And so we don't need additional financial aid. Maybe, I'm not sure. Right, now we are turning to the section of the final section of our agenda today, the discussion. So I'm encouraging you to ask questions using the chat box. I have a few questions from my side, but I'm really keen to also read out loud your questions if you type them in the chat box. Edgars, my first question goes to you. It was actually encouraged by the technician here in this mini studio I'm in. He was listening to your presentation and he said something like, yeah, it all sounds nice and smooth when it's given as a presentation, but when as a business you actually have to apply, it's probably something like 400 pages of the project application. So could you guide us through the customer path, the company realizing that it's not fully competitive in terms of its digital maturity and willing to take some support offered by the government?
Yes, thank you for the question. And as I mentioned in my presentation as well, we are focusing on lowering the bureaucratic burden on businesses, and that's associated with your mentioned 400 pages or so within the application form. So for us, we understand that the support should not be only understandable for the business, but also available for the reach within the reaching distance of the business. So for us, what we also put into the recovery and resilience funding together with the Latvian Investment and Development Agency was the development of BizGov LV, which will be an online platform for the businesses to apply for any sorts of state aid. So it will be a much easier way, a much easier path for the company to see and acknowledge what is the actual support out there and to apply for it in a virtual and digital way. We saw that this was a challenge with the COVID relief and COVID support instruments for the hospitality industry. So a lot of documentation was flowing into the ministry and Latvian Investment and Development Agency. And what we had to do, we had to manually assess it. Of course, the company had to manually put it together. Then it was manually assessed by the representatives in the Ministry of Economy and the Latvian Investment and Development Agency. But many things can be done digitally. So, for example, if there's a need for a certain level of financial stability for the company to apply for a support instrument, that is an information that's available for the state revenue services. And it should be available instantly for the Ministry of Economy or other institution responsible for the aid. So this is something that we are looking towards to with this BizGov LV introduction that should take place starting from next year as well. And this would help very much for the companies to apply, get evaluated, and receive the funding.
So basically, I as a company representative enter my company's registration number, and I don't know, half of the application is filled automatically. Is that so?
That's what we are trying to achieve with this, yes.
Sounds very good. Actually, I think it's from the different industry, this example, but for the first time in Latvia this year, the counting of people in Latvia, the census process happened automated based on algorithms using the data that we already have. For example, if you visit a doctor in Latvia, which is of course registered activity, then it's quite probable that you live in Latvia. So we can actually count you in as someone being here in this country. So and for the first time in Latvia's history, it was counted like that. Northern countries do it like this, I think, for quite a long period. So I think this example, although from different specifics, is quite a good one, and it's a way to go. My next question goes to Ilze. You mentioned we already touched upon this, involving people in the workshops online or on site, and you mentioned this term that I've heard actually for the first time. Although it's very trivial, I would say. You said online motivation. Have you investigated this phenomenon, online motivation, in relation to different learning activities and besides them?
Oscar, I think Ilze has left us
really?
at the moment. So
I see, but that was somebody else from the IT cluster. Maybe you could jump in. It's probably. Or maybe some of the participants, Simone, maybe you mentioned your decision of postponing the workshop in Austria. Maybe you could come with some, tell us some arguments why so? I mean, why this decision? I know it's a bit of like a cold shower now, me asking you guys to switch on the camera. Hi, Simone.
No. Hi, nice to see you. Well, we thought, as it is something completely new and requires, well, I don't want to go into detail of this tools that are part of this Kickstart training, but it includes a lot of creativity parts and so on. And of course, we have all gained expertise on organizing online workshops in the last year, especially, but still there are ways of working together, raising creativity that we think works much better when you do it on site. Also, we would like to pilot this Kickstart concept and then test it and roll it out in Austria as part of our project action plan. And for this pilot, we decided to do it on site. The workshops are scheduled for September now, this year. So we'll see. If that doesn't work again, then I think we finally have to do it online. And I might come back to Ilse to learn from her how she did that.
Well, at least in Latvia, we have quite a good experience with digital certification about vaccinated people and their involvement in public events, also learnings and different trainings. So maybe this is also the case in Austria, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the clusters have went online with their events also in the last year, and things like whiteboards and things like that we did not use at all in the past are now common tools. So all kind of things for interaction. Yeah, but still, we hope for an on-site meeting.
Sure. All right, Simone, thanks for being ready to jump in. Thank you so much. I think, Edgar, so I'm going to ask you another question. You mentioned innovation hubs available throughout the big network in Europe, and that the companies can use the expertise if it's lacking nearby. How does this work in practice? Because it sounds good, but it's on the other hand, it could be challenging reaching out to, I don't know, innovation hub in Spain and asking them things, you know.
Yes, right. So the European Digital Innovation Hubs, it's a program that's being put together by the European Commission. So the roof for the European Digital Innovation Hubs is the European Commission. They are funding these hubs as well. It's co-financed with together with the state funding, and the European Commission will be also responsible for networking these hubs. So they have already created a map of these networks. They already have had networking events amongst the member states nominated European Digital Innovation Hubs. For us, it's the IT cluster and Latvian Digital Accelerator. So we have nominated them. They have met other European Digital Innovation Hubs. They are already in contact, and this will be continued throughout the whole operation period for the program as such. And with these European Digital Innovation Hubs, the financing will come from the new European Commission Digital Europe program. And not only the EDIC activities will be financed throughout this program, there will be other activities for cloud computing, microelectronics, and others, where I believe that these European Digital Innovation Hubs will also be included into the conversation. So I think that they will be in touch with each other on, let's say, weekly basis at least.
All right, sounds promising. Lauris, my next question, it goes to you. Actually, we already touched upon this a bit. I mean, I'm not sure we answered actually Gabriela's question about the unified governance of public services and that aspect of the question, who would be responsible to put this into practice. And in your answers, I've heard this, okay, this is the Ministry of Transportation, and, you know, and this is, in my opinion, quite, you know, often the case in public institutions that, okay, this is the beyond our responsibility, that is that ministry. So do you see your ministry, the Ministry of Environmental Protection and Regional Development, as the central hub still to at least to, you know, follow up and look closely that it actually is happening?
Yes, I completely agree with you, and my reference to other ministry was only related to telecommunications area. So regarding public services, historically, this function was in our state chancellery, but after that was, I don't know, about 6-7 years ago, transferred from state chancellery to our ministry, So we really try to take good care of that, and our understanding is that that goes very well with digitalization. So that this is good coincidence, or well, this our advantage in our Latvian public administration in particular, that within one organization we have responsibility for digitalization, meaning government CIO office on one hand, on the other hand, responsibility for public services, so that we really have all means in our hands to do all what we can to make to lead digital transformation of public services.
I see. All right. Yeah, Gabriela, greetings to you. We finally got to the point. So yeah, actually the last question from my side, and I believe this would go to Edgars again. We talked about a little bit about the analysis when you were thinking about the contents of courses that you're going to offer to target audiences, that it was based on statistical data and surveys. What about businesses and their needs? And when you create, when you ideate about the support mechanisms, is industry involved at some point in this? I mean, individual cases, associations, representatives of businesses. How does this happen? Maybe majority of participants know it, but maybe some don't. So could you explain this?
Okay, the practical work that's being placed around forming support instruments and forming the list of support instruments within a certain funding area. So let's say recovery and resilience funding that was introduced last year to react for the COVID-19 situation all around the world. Well, not around the world, around Europe. What we did, we first talked within the public sector ministries and other representatives. We formed what would be the needs and necessities of each of the ministries' fields that they are responsible for. For us, obviously, it was the business sector. So this is why we pushed the necessity for introducing state aid for the businesses. And after we have formed this understanding or areas for each of the ministries that need to be improved, we have written them in paper, and then we circulate them with all of the main or the biggest associations locally. So all of the associations or anyone who had interest within what will be done with this recovery and resilience funding was involved in the conversation. And if there were some concerns, as for some associations, the concern was with not sufficient investments within the human capital field, we pushed the necessity to increase this financing that was firstly introduced. So firstly, we had 10 million euros for human capital in businesses. And with the help of the industry and the associations, we pushed this towards 20 million from the recovery and resilience funding. So with this help, we actually gained extra 10 million for the companies to have more courses or more available funding for the human capital sector. And this is the case for all of the instruments. If there is some instrument that the industry or the parliament feels that is not as necessary as other, or it is not as crucial as others, they might rule in favor of one another and basically transfer the funding from one to the other. And that was the case by forming the recovery and resilience funding plans as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think it was a brilliant example of like a minor thing, but because of the communication, because of the partnerships, the result is significant. Thank you so much. And actually, I'm saying the big thank you to all of you, because that's it, folks, from our side in Riga and Latvia today. And thank you for being present and with us today, and thank you for those watching the record afterwards. I think we see each other in different events in near future. Bye bye. Cheers.